Welcome in, everyone, to Team Bankroll World Cup qualifying preview for Sunday, October 8th, 2017. I'm your host, the big man on campus. Today I'm hosting the show here with just Mark. Mark Stinchcomb is here with me. He's a Liverpool fan. He's a great football man over in the great country of England. Mark, we were supposed to have other guests, but we're unable to reach them. So it's only me and you today, mate. What do you think?
Hi, big man. Yeah, I think we'll just smash it as usual, won't we?
Yeah, no, you and I usually do pretty well here, and we've actually done pretty well in general on these qualifiers. We've had a good couple of days here. We're getting down to the nitty gritty, Mark, as they would say. It's time to put up or shut up and qualify here. Only 2 match days left for some teams. Only 1 for a couple as well. We've seen teams qualify, get a pool eliminated. So it'll be interesting to see. Again, Sunday's matches coming at you, and we are sponsored by the great folks at 888 Sport. All the lines that we give out today are from 888 Sport. Mark, before we get into it, have you found your way through any of these match days? I know today you said you thought it was a pretty tough match day. Have you gotten involved in any others?
I had a few bets yesterday, but it was really difficult because there's such a lack of goals. I mean, none of Brazil, Uruguay, or Argentina even scored.
Sure.
And England didn't score till injury time. So you kind of wonder whether these teams are too worried about losing and will just struggle their way through and maybe nick a goal if they're lucky.
Yeah, you make a good point. I mean, you look at yesterday. I mean, England needed a very late goal. Scotland got a late goal. You're dead on the money with that. There's been some interesting score lines here. But then you look at yesterday. I mean, San Marino loses, 6-0 or whatever it was. I mean, some of these minnows are really getting pounded. But let's jump into Sunday's matches here. We'll also have previews on Monday and Tuesday matches as well coming up over the weekend. So make sure you stay abreast to the situation here at SBR Picks. I believe I'm hosting Sunday. Alex is tomorrow. But Mark, let's jump into Sunday's matches here and see if we can provide any value. First one, Poland, 1.27, draw 5.2, Montenegro at 12. Poland, the team on the brink of qualification here. I do believe they would have qualified if yesterday Denmark and Montenegro had a draw. Denmark did get a win there, so they still have to qualify here. But, I mean, they're pretty much on the brink. And they're facing a Montenegro team who I think is a little desperate. Really missed a good opportunity yesterday at home to get 3 points or even get a point out of it. It's hard to go in losing at home to Denmark. You really needed a better outcome there. Must win for both teams. Montenegro will clearly go for it. Can they score is the question. Poland, as we know, Mark, they score for fun. They crushed Azerbaijan yesterday. What do you think about this match? Any opinion?
I think that it's going to be really tough for Montenegro. I mean, obviously the odds on Poland are already quite short, but Stefan Jovetic got injured yesterday for Montenegro, and he's by far and away their best player. Pretty much, if they're going to score a goal, it's going to be through him. So I assume he's out of the game on Sunday. I think they'll struggle. When I looked at this game earlier, Poland were about 1.4, so I think the market's picked up on the fact that Montenegro are going to be without Jovetic. So I can only see a Poland win. I guess it's just a case of how many goals, really. So it's whether you play Poland on the handicaps or back over the goals. But I think I'd be leaning towards Poland on the handicap just because I can't see Montenegro scoring. So maybe Poland about minus 1.5. Lewandowski just scores for fun, doesn't he? So maybe 2 or 3-0 for Poland. So yeah, Poland on the handicap I think could be the bet.
Yeah, I mean, with obviously the fact that Montenegro is really in a horrible situation. I mean, they have to get some sort of result here. Again, I know you're losing Jovetic is huge. I mean, he's one of their only attacking players. I guess with the thought pattern, though, that both these teams need to go for it, I think a Poland at over 2.5 looks really good here at 1.9. I think you're making a good point there, though. books are starting to catch up with the markets. Markets are obviously seeing Jovetic out. The scoring opportunities are more and more less frequent, I think, in this one. And Montenegro, I mean, you're getting prices from 12 to 15 for a team that must win, but obviously with Jovetic out, it really hurts. So we'll see, but I think Poland over 2.5 looks pretty good here. As you said, they're just scoring goals for fun. A 3-0 victory, 2-1 even. I could see a nicking goal here. It's hard to take unders with Poland. So I'll go Poland at 1.9. Mark, you're saying Poland the over 2.5 at 1.9. Mark, you're saying you may be looking at a handicap here, maybe a 1.5 handicap here on Poland.
No, I think I agree with your bet there actually, because if Montenegro do go for it and push forward, as you say, it's pretty much must win. You can see Poland picking them off on the counter attack.
Sure.
But even obviously Poland, they've conceded to San Marino and Gibraltar in the last few years. Defensively, they always give you a chance. Even without Jovetic, Montenegro could nick a goal. So yeah, I think that sounds really good. Poland over 2.5 at 1.9.
Yeah, I think that's a good agreement here. Next one, your boys, England, 1.37, Lithuania, 8.5, draw at 4.6. And again, all these lines sponsored by the great people at 888 Sport. England's in the World Cup, though, and Albania is just getting crushed right now, Mark. Not good. Spain taking some frustration out on my side. Take it easy on them, for God's sakes. England's in, but I think we can agree. I just keep hearing the guy screaming that they're scoring. England's in, as I said, but a little bit of uncertainty, actually a lot of uncertainty. Up until the Harry Kane goal, they looked horrible. I mean, in all sense of the word. I mean, I think one thing England's got to do, and you may agree here, Mark. I think I'm sure you agree here. Actually, Joe Hart needs to go away. I mean, Joe Hart. I mean, you would agree Pickford or someone else has to be in there as goalkeeper. I know they didn't give up any goals, but he made some odd decisions. He continues to make odd decisions in the goal. As far as in this game, we'll get your breakdown here in a moment. I'd imagine massive exclusions here for England. I don't really see the reasoning for them to go on the road here. Last match day, they're in. I mean, there's no real push here to get any sort of result. Lithuania has given up 19 goals in qualification, but they're another team that really struggles to do anything of any sort. Under 2.5 here to me looks pretty good, but I've actually made a decent knack lately of England and under 3.5, but I'm not sure that I trust them going on the road and even scoring here. Should they? Yes, but they've been less than stellar, Mark.
Yeah, 100%. They just seem to lack any ideas really yesterday in terms of how to break down Slovenia. I mean, don't get me wrong, Slovenia played quite well in terms of how they were organised, but England would just seem to be lacking somebody with a football brain, if you like, to pick out the right pass. And I'm surprised, to be fair, that he's not playing. You've got so many Tottenham players in there. Why he's not playing the same formation that Tottenham play with? Right. Kyle Walker, obviously he was at Spurs last season, but with Kyle Walker at wing back, obviously when he made the change, Kyle Walker got round the side and he crossed for Harry Kane. So I'm surprised he's not doing that. And with Joe Hart, it's a strange one really, because you can see he's not performing very well for West Ham, and come next summer, it's likely that he will still have been performing badly. So if then Southgate throws in, Jack Butland, for example, Butland will have had no international experience coming in, so he could quite easily, chuck in
an
error.
Pickford or Forster or some. I mean, Joe Hart. I mean, he was shitty in Torino. He's been bad in general. It's time to move on. I mean, someone's got to give you a better option, Mark. I mean.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, aren't these games a perfect opportunity to try somebody else as well? It's not as if England are under the cosh in them, and it's not as if anyone can do much worse than Joe Hart. So it's difficult to say, really. In terms of this match, I kind of agree with you bet again here. Obviously, England have been quite lacklustre. Sort of case of, will Harry Kane score pretty much if England are going to win. But they've played Lithuania 3 times over the last few years. They beat them 2-0 and 4-0 at Wembley and 3-0 in Lithuania. Well, I don't think we see England scoring 4 goals, so I think England and under 3.5 looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, and
Scotland,
go ahead.
Scotland, Slovakia, and Slovenia have all scored twice in Lithuania, so I think we'll be pretty unlucky if England don't manage to grab at least a goal.
Yeah, one of our listeners here, Georgie, has mentioned he'd like to see Jack Wilshere back on the team. I agree, totally. And also in this game, I think the great thing about a team like England is they have so much depth. So even if they throw in a second team, they're still likely to go for it. They want to show Southgate that they maybe belong on the team. Or, Dele Alli didn't play us today after being suspended. You would think he'll get a little run here as well. There shouldn't be any reason they can't put a goal by Lithuania, even in these circumstances. England and under 3.5 looks like another very good bet, Mark. I think we're on to something here. As far as one of the listeners saying they can't hear anything, again, if anyone else can't hear anything, let us know. But unfortunately, it just might be your PC or whatever you're using there, South Bay. We'll hopefully that'll get fixed for you here. But we're just a help here, as they would say. Let's go to the next one here. We got Germany, who's qualified. They qualified. I think they ended up qualifying last year, if I'm correct, Mark. I mean, it seems like we might as well just pencil them in every year. I'm not sure why they even have to go through qualifying. Germany 1.02, draw 16, Azerbaijan 61. So they're not giving Azerbaijan much of a shot here, Mark. Though I do want to point this out, and this is just something to think about. I remember watching the away match in Azerbaijan, in Baku, I believe, and Azerbaijan was able to score a goal somehow. I don't know how they did it. It was kind of a random goal, but give them some credit. You would think improved German goal side here as far as defense, they would probably want to come out and have a clean sheet. I will say yesterday, Mark, I was a little annoyed. I had Germany win to 0 yesterday, and they gave up a goal in the 93rd minute to the Northern Ireland group, and I was pretty irritated. But this one, I mean, you really name the price. I mean, what goal do you want to lay here? Azerbaijan's not going to put up much of a fight here. We know the Germany B team or C team is light years better even than the A team for Azerbaijan. How do you go about looking at this one, Mark? For me, I'm looking maybe they've scored 38 goals and only given up 3 in qualifying. I think they come out here and pound Azerbaijan. Arguably, I'm kind of looking at an over 4.5 in Germany here, or maybe even just laying a 3 handicap and going with Germany at 1.72. What do you think about this game?
Well, I was looking at the goal market as you sort of mentioned, and I thought it was a little bit high at 4.5 over or under. A lot of those German goals they've scored against, and as you say, they scored 4 in Azerbaijan, but I kind of think the sort of their sort of second team isn't quite as good as the first team. And I don't see Azerbaijan causing them too many problems. So I thought maybe Germany and under 4.5. I think you can get around about evens. Is that right?
Say that one more time.
Germany and under 4.5. What price is that?
I'm seeing under 4.5. Let me take a look here. We got 1.73 at Sky Bet.
You can get for Germany.
Yeah, that's Germany under 4.5. Germany over 4.5 at 1.91. That's actually kind of what I'm looking. I think you make a good. We're kind of head to head here. It's not a great price. Let's take a look at this. I'd be interested to see maybe in a handicap here. I mean, what do you think the final score is, Mark? 3-0, 4-0?
I think it could be anything. Maybe if they fancy it, 3 or 4.
Yeah, I mean, you can get Germany -3. That's not a good price. 1.57. You can get 3.5 at 1.81. I could see 4-0 here, honestly. That's kind of what I would be looking at here. Maybe I might consider Germany in the -3.5. But I will agree, it's not a great match. It's probably a game I'd pass on. There's just not a ton to play for either team. You could see a situation where Germany kind of just coast and win 3-0 or something here. We'll see. Spain, Albania. Yeah, I mean, what do you want me to say? They're losing 3-0. Sorry. Well, it happens. Maybe they'll just hang it and we'll get a push here. We'll see what happens. Can't win them all, Mark, as he would say. So you would agree, probably maybe just a pass, right? Did we lose Mark? Mark, you there? Mark looks frozen. Hopefully he can jump out here and jump back in. Mark, try to join again. We lost Mark for a second. He looks frozen on my computer here. Yeah, there he goes. Hopefully he'll join right back in here. Iceland scored. Okay. And again, we are recording this on Friday, so we got a little live stuff going on. Hopefully we'll get Mark back in here. We'll kind of wrap through the other matches here. We have Norway, Northern Ireland, or maybe I'll just have to do the show by myself, as they would say. Let's just run here. Give him a second. I didn't expect to only be the only one on here today, so hopefully we get Mark back here. Let's go to the next one here. I'll kind of go through it as I can here. Norway, Northern Ireland, Norway 2.33, draw 3.15, Northern Ireland 3.15. Northern Ireland firmly in second place in this group. Them and Germany have really kind of did whatever they wanted. Northern Ireland as good as gold to move on here. Norway off of a nice thrashing for them. They don't usually win many big wins like they did yesterday, but many people do that against San Marino, unfortunately. Mark, you back?
Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure what happened there.
Yeah, you just froze. As far as Norway, Northern Ireland, Northern Ireland's keenly in second in this group. Norway off of a nice thrashing. They don't usually get those, Mark, do they? San Marino, but a lot of teams do that. You, me, and 9 listeners could probably do that to San Marino. What are your thoughts on this game? An interesting handicap because neither team, Northern Ireland's not going to lose second place here.
Yeah, I thought it was a difficult one to call, really. Northern Ireland obviously got second place, but I think they'll be keen to get at least a point because I think there's 9 second place teams, so only 8 of them actually go into the playoffs. It's difficult at this stage with games going on to know how all of those teams currently sit. So I think they'll be keen and also take a little bit of momentum into the playoffs, obviously, after losing to Germany the other night. I think Norway got a bit of a point to prove. You know, they've had a really bad campaign, haven't they? Obviously, they beat San Marino 8-0, but they haven't really fared too well across the other matches. So it's a difficult game to call. I thought maybe something that might be of interest is perhaps a little bit of a big price, and I think it was with A88 was Josh King to score at 3.6. He's got 8 goals in his last 16 for the national team. He looks like he's sort of starting to mature a little bit. And for Bournemouth last season, he got 16 goals, which is no mean feat really in the Premier League. And he'll be on penalties as well. So I thought maybe at 3.6 that might be worth a little bet.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good call by you. He's done some good things for Bournemouth. Him and Jermaine Defoe. Hopefully they can get a little thing going there. But I'm actually kind of high on maybe a draw no bet here for Northern Ireland. I could see, I could just see a stalemate here. We'll get our money back. But at 2.1, I could see them beating Norway. Norway's no great shakes here. Or even just a straight Northern Ireland win at 2.87. I think you make a good point. A team like Northern Ireland, you probably want to go out and try to get the maximum points. You don't want to leave anything to chance or anything. Overall, it's a tough match to call. A stalemate here, 3.4 at a draw could be good. You can actually get 3.15, 3.4 wherever you're looking. 888 got a 3.15 price here on the draw. It's a tough one to call, but I think your Josh King bet might be a good one. He's your quote unquote probably best player on the field in this game. So and he will take penalties in that case. Yeah, I like Northern Ireland here in this one. They aren't. I don't think some people in the chat are saying Northern Ireland. They're not in the same group as Bosnia. I'm not sure what you guys are talking about. But let's go to a couple other ones. Mark, you like an interesting game here: Scotland and Slovenia. Scotland on the brink of qualifying for the World Cup. How about that? And I was telling you before the show, I was reading into one of the Scottish newspapers, Daily Record, and they were talking about a caller called into one of the talk shows and said he thought that not only could they get into the World Cup, but they could win. And he seemed somewhat serious about that effect. Could you see that happening, Mark? What world would we live in if Scotland wins the World Cup?
Well, we live in a world where Greece won the Euros, so who knows?
Good point. Good point. Good point there. I
Um,
mean, if they're going to do it, how big of a slap in the face to England would that be? England seemingly tries every year to win the World Cup, and they never do. Then little Scotland comes in with Lee Griffiths and James Forrest, and they get the job done. How about that? Celtic boys get a big win. But what do you think in this game? Interesting numbers: 2.7 for Slovenia, 2.5 for Scotland, draw 3.4. What are your thoughts here?
yeah, I can't have Scotland as favourites to win the match. Completely disagree with it. I think, as you spoke to me about before, it's simply just because they've got to win, and but I think everyone's reacted over the top towards that. I mean, Slovenia have only lost one home game in qualifying in the last 4 years, and that was against England, and even that was 3-2. So that was quite a close match. They've not conceded a goal at home yet in this qualifying campaign. Only England managed to get a 0-0 draw there. They've got some good players as well. Like they've got Jan Oblak in goal, obviously at Atletico Madrid, and they've got a striker up front called Taz, who plays for Vitesse. He seems to score goals wherever he goes, and they've got another little guy that plays just behind Joseph Ilicic, who's just moved to Atalanta, who are a great team in Serie A, really underrated in Serie A. And Scotland are the same price as they were at home to Slovenia, and I just find it difficult to agree with that. Scotland lost 3-0 at England and Slovakia. I think Slovenia draw no bet, sort of going against the tide a little bit. Slovenia draw no bet evens. That's my bet here. I think Slovenia, they can still qualify. It takes a strange run of results. I think it involves Slovakia not beating Malta, but I can't imagine that Slovenia aren't going to try here. So I think
Well,
Slovenia.
and that's the point I want to make. I think you make a great point. I mean, this is, I mean, it would be absolutely dreadful if Scotland loses here. I mean, that would be really bad. I mean, but I think both these teams are going to go for it. I like both teams to score it too. I think that's a pretty good bet. You mentioned some of the players for Slovenia. They need to go for it. They need to try to get a win here. Could leave them vulnerable in the back. I could see them not nicking a goal Scotland here to make it. They need to win too. I mean, they can't just sit here and hope for not. They're going to hope for a draw, but I still think they'll go for it and try to score. Their attack is pretty good. I like both teams to score at a nice two price, even money, double your money. What do you think about that, Mark?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as you say, if both teams are going to go for it, a bit similar to Poland and Montenegro, as we discussed before, if both sides are going to attack, and you would imagine at some point, if it stays 0-0, Scotland will get edgy, begin to push players forward, and yeah, as you say, they could easily see both nets ripple.
Yeah, sure. I mean, because for a draw is not going to do anything here for
No.
Slovenia. They need to go and get a win here. So, yeah, it's definitely an interesting match. I do like your point though about the pricing here. Scotland getting a little bit too much love from the bookies here. Let's get into maybe one or two others that might show interest here on a Sunday. And again, we are sponsored by the great folks at 888 Sport. Mark Stinchcomb, me, the big man on campus here with you live. Mark, let's take one more look at a couple others. I'll leave it to you here. Do you have any game that you're looking at saying, I got to bet that?
Well, I was looking at Czech Republic against San Marino. I always
Yeah,
like.
I was gonna look at that one as well. Actually, what do you got here
Um,
for this one?
I always like taking San Marino to get absolutely walloped. It's complete waste of time having them in the competition. I think the price has gone against me a little bit. I was looking earlier, and you could get 1.8 on Czech Republic minus 5 goals. I think it's moved a little bit now. I don't know whether you think that the Czech Republic can get more than 6.
Yeah, I think Czech Republic's not. They're not going to win anything here. I mean, they're in third. Unfortunately, they're kind of way behind. But I mean, I think we have to talk just quickly about the level of competition and why San Marino has no business at this level. I mean, you and I were talking about there should be some sort of tournament for these teams, like San Marino and Gibraltar and Andorra and just minnows. I mean, we have to talk. I mean, they've given up 46 goals in 9 matches. For anyone that's not good with math, I mean, that's over 5 goals a game. I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, at how poor they are. They provide no ability to score. The chance of them scoring. I mean, you and I have talked about it. They've scored like 4 goals in like 6 years. I mean, it's amazing. Czech Republic beat them 6-0 away in the last match. Yeah, at 5 goals, I would go with that. I think Czech Republic takes a little bit of their frustration out on a hapless San Marino team. I think this is 6-7-0.
Yeah, well, I think you make a good case there. I can't see. We can't see San Marino scoring. So as long as Czech Republic can get at least 6, then it should cop.
Yeah, there's absolutely zero chance they score. I mean, on the road, I mean, it would be like a miracle if they did, really. Let me just view the markets here. I just want to kind of look at the handicaps here and kind of maybe see if there's another piece of value here. We can get all right. Czech Republic minus 5.25 is low. You actually have to really kind of lay I mean, 5.5 is the only real. I mean, even that's at 1.63, so the 5 is long gone.
That's a bit short.
Yeah. You're basically banking on like a 6-0 victory because the over-under's at 6.5. Shit, man. I got to be honest. It's tough to imagine more than 6 goals. I think under 6.5 looks pretty good. I think this is probably 5 or 6-0, but who knows? I mean, San Marino, would we be surprised if you give up 10 here? I wouldn't.
No, not at all.
Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Was it 8 they conceded against Norway last night?
Yeah, good point. So I mean, it's fairly unlikely that there's any value here. But at 5, I was interested. But at what's the first half? Would we have any first half bets here? Let's look at that here. First half is there's not even a fucking handicap. Christ. Jesus. Yeah, we'll pass. Not a ton of value here, clearly. We've missed the boat, if you will, Mark, on this game. We'll wrap it up here. Anything on Slovakia, Malta? Clearly, Slovakia has must go in and get a pretty good victory here. Any thoughts on a handicap or anything here?
Yeah, I was leaning towards taking Slovakia on the handicap. But Malta actually aren't that bad defensively. They don't concede too many goals. I think it was only 3 they conceded at Wembley against England.
Yeah.
And I think with the public money, with Slovakia needing to win, it has pushed the handicap too far. And like the Czech Republic one, I just don't think there's any value in the.
I think Slovakia is really kind of. I think what they're going to do is really be meticulous in this game, not try to screw anything up, just nick a goal or two, play good, solid defense. And you're right, Malta's not bad defensively. I mean, that's their game. They're going to sit in front of the goal, try to keep it 0-0 for as long as possible. I think Slovakia in the under 3.5 at 2.05 looks pretty tasty here. I could very well see a 2 or 3-0 victory, and that's about it. Kind of like England, Lithuania. Nick a goal or two, get out of there and take the points.
Yeah, that sounds good actually. Because I think the last qualifying campaign, Malta, I think they only lost like 1 or 2-0 in both games against Italy.
Yeah.
And that's a similar sort of match. So,
what a terrible defeat for Slovakia, though. You got to wonder where their minds are on this one. I mean, you lose so late in a game where a point was really yours. I mean, and you get Malta coming up. It was just a really good spot for them, but to lose in that fashion is got to be tough.
Also they played nearly 70 minutes with 10 men, so they might have a little bit of fatigue coming into this.
Good point.
So yeah, I think under 3.5 in Slovakia looks really good.
Sure. Let's wrap it up here with we'll do a banker and a 2-team parlay if you have one. For me, I have to go with a banker of Poland and the over 2.5 at 1.9. I think that's really looks good. For an ACCR or 2-team parlay, I'll go England in the under 3.5, and I'm going to go with shit, man. I'll go. I'm going to take a shot. I think Scotland gets the job done. I'm going to go Scotland straight win.
Decent. I'm going to oppose you completely there and go for Slovenia draw no bet as my banker.
Wow. All right.
Just from, I think maybe from living in the UK a little bit,
You
obviously
kind of know how Scotland works.
get a little bit more media attention, yeah. And I think the pressure on the Scotland players is going to be absolutely huge, and I'm not sure whether they can cope with it. Obviously, having seen some of their teams in Europe, I mean, we saw Rangers get knocked out in the Europa League qualifying rounds to, was it a Lithuanian team, sort of the fourth best team in Lithuania?
Oh,
Uh,
sure. I remember that. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it was a great result for Celtic, but obviously Celtic are head and shoulders above
Everyone
uh,
else.
everyone. Yeah, and you obviously got players outside of Scotland that play for them in Dembele and Rogic. And Patrick Roberts, of course. So yeah, I'm going to go for Slovenia, draw no bet at evens as my banker bet, and I think for a double, I'm going to take. I really like your Poland and over 2.5, and the England and under 3.5. I think they're really strong bets. So I'll take that as a double.
Yeah, I'm probably going to bet those here. Probably right after the show. I like those ones a lot. This has been our preview for World Cup qualifiers on Sunday, October 8th. We'll be back Saturday where we'll recap and get going with Monday's matches. Mark, thanks for joining me today, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Cheers, big man.
Thank you, boss.